talking about transitioning to the water sensitive city, we spent a lot of time thinking about how to plan for it, what are the technologies, what are the scientific questions, how do we manage attributes like flood risk. But sometimes we don't ask the really important question, and that is, whose societal needs are we serving and which needs are really important? One of the most famous ways of thinking about societal needs was developed by Maslow. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And he says for a society to be really well and a society to be functioning with fairness and opportunity for all, there's many needs that need to be sustained, starting with the physiological needs, people's needs for safety, society's needs for feeling love and belonging, right through to self-actualised communities with purpose and shared identities. So with transitioning to the water-sensitive city, we need to be thinking about how can water and innovative water management help fulfil on each of those needs to make sure that we do contribute to having really well, prosperous and livable places. So what's great is that we can really relate the work of social psychology and people such as Maslow that have talked about societal needs to that city-state continuum that Professor Tony Wong introduced in session 1, and that question about transitioning to the water-sensitive city. And what we can see at the sort of the lowest level of meeting societal needs, meeting people's physiological needs and their needs for safety, are really met in the first 3 city-states, providing water supply, providing for public health through sewering cities, and providing flood protection through the drainage of cities. If we think about the next step, the next level, increasing our ability to meet societal needs, we're looking at those relatedness needs. And we can see that the waterways city and the water cycle city, if we manage water smartly, we can provide for enhanced recreation opportunities for people to connect, to socialise, to enjoy their landscape in new ways, for people to celebrate the beauty of water infrastructure, and for that to provide them a level of comfort while protecting their environment. It's a different way of thinking about water and how managing water can meet societal needs. When we think about water-sensitive practices and societal needs, or what does a water-sensitive city look like in terms of how it's connected with communities, we're thinking about communities that are really empowered around water, around questions of water. We're thinking about communities that celebrate its water environment. It's instrumental to the identity of that city and its citizens. So not only is it celebrated for its purpose of meeting basic physiological needs, it enhances the beauty of a city, it enhances the opportunity for people to be connected to each other, and it really contributes to the empowerment of citizens, empowerment of neighbourhoods, empowerment of communities broadly in making really good decisions for themselves and for the environment, so that water is not a limiting factor in the future. People have the inbuilt resilience and coping mechanisms to be adaptive to all sorts of possible futures, whether they be heat waves, floods or droughts, and to use these crises as opportunities to enhance their water managing practices at the local through to the city scale level, to provide opportunities and unique ways of adapting to a whole lot of uncertain futures. A water sensitive city helps communities meet their own needs in really flexible ways and is not dependent on a traditional infrastructure approach. Finally, bringing our thinking together around meeting societal needs. The key point would be about intergenerational equity, and how we think about that is that any city has 3 types of capital. It has natural capital, we can think about that as our waterways and our biodiversity and our ecosystems. We've got our human capital, it's the people and our thinking and our processes and our strategies and our rules. And then we've got our built capital, which is our pumps and pipes and all the infrastructure. Now in the past, in traditional water management, we would often trade technical, physical capital with natural capital. And we thought that was okay, but it really undermines the resilience of our city, the ecological integrity of our city, and the opportunity for people to be connected with their natural environment. So in a water-sensitive city, intergenerational equity is key, and we would be thinking really hard about any trade-offs that needed to be made. We'd want to protect as much natural capital as possible and really embrace innovative technology that biomimics the environment and those processes. And we'd probably be relying a lot more on our human capital, our water-sensitive citizenry, and our innovative thinking around how to protect the natural environment, keep that as robust as possible, and minimise the trade between those three capitals. And we do that so that future generations aren't locked in to pathways around decisions that we've made today with our limited forms of human capital, because that will always grow. So a central concept when thinking about the water-sensitive city is how do we embrace an intergenerational view, always thinking about future generations and the options that they have and the legacy that we're leaving them.